Again, urgent, because we do not have a lot of time yet. The Bitcoin halving is coming pretty soon, and a lot of people expect the halving to happen and then go parabolic and we all miss out. I don't think it's like that, but there are a couple of things that we should definitely consider, and I am watching a certain amount of altcoins which I would like to talk about today. So like the video if you like the video, subscribe to the channel, turn the bell notification on, and let's get right into it. Bitcoin at the moment sitting at $69,300. Nothing too crazy is happening right now. We're just consolidating around this level. And we saw a small dip yesterday. We were finally above 71 and then go below 70 again. It's like, bleh. On the other hand, it was a 3.5% dip. Like, come on, that's normal, right? So don't let that scare you off. If anything, Bitcoin is basically going sideways for more than a month right now. Also, if you look at previous consolidations, that's nothing too crazy as well. Here, Bitcoin went sideways from beginning of December until the beginning of February, right? We went sideways for 2 months. Yeah, in the meantime, we went to the upside, we went to the downside, but overall, it was pretty much sideways, right? And that happens way more often. Here, we even went sideways from March until August. Well, you could even say October, right? So even in the middle of this quite parabolic bull market, we went sideways for half a year, right? It's not always up only. So please keep that in mind. I know it's super exciting, and that if, nothing is happening for a month or so, it feels like, oh, do something, right? Hasn't it been doing something already, right? Look at this last leg up. Of course, let's cool off right here. The bulls are lucky that we didn't get a major correction yet, right? So at least a little bit sideways is... it's nothing too crazy. Now, if we do look at this tweet, this is still a little, I don't know. It could happen. It could play out, right? But this is quite bullish, but it's super speculative. So Tad from your AI, he says Bitcoin is forming an inverse head and shoulders on the weekly time frame, right? We have the left shoulder, we have the head, and we have a potential right shoulder right here. Now, if we go sideways for longer, then we have the right shoulder. If we go down, then we can have... So this is going to play out over months to come. Okay, months to come. He also says a breakout will send Bitcoin above 200k, but these patterns take weeks or months to play out, so there's still time to accumulate before Bitcoin resumes its parabolic rally. As you can see, this left shoulder right here is the shoulder that happened in 2021, right? That was that bull market. This was the complete bear market, and this is our current bull market. So this would signal our last leg up. That could definitely happen, but this is not happening before 2025, right? We first need to make the shoulder, and that takes a lot of time. But it could definitely happen. And if the target is above 200k, hey, I'm all up for it. I don't mind a 200k Bitcoin. What I do found an interesting tweet by Coach Crypto is this one. My last investment into new crypto projects will be June 30th. Very specific, okay? Why? We will only, in my opinion, have 10 months left in this bull, so I will invest for now. Later, I will ride the waves and then get ready for the next bear. I completely agree with this strategy. I don't agree with his timeline necessarily, but his strategy, and that's what I made a video about this, and I'm dropping this tomorrow. But at a certain point, you should think ahead, right? You should be like, if you invest in pre-sales and that kind of stuff, at the end of 2025, you should not invest in a pre-sale with a 2 years vesting, right? Then you get it vested in the middle of a bear market. And that's what he means. Invest, know when the vesting is coming, and then you can assume for yourself, like, hey, this is going to happen in the bull market. The only thing that I don't really agree on is that he says we will only have around 10 months left in this bull. That would mean February 2025. That's, coach, not really what the 4-year cycle is doing so far, right? We top out like every 4 years, actually. So if that's the case, end 2013, end 2017, end 2021. So end 2025, not the beginning of 2025. But I get that you want to take a little spare room because, of course, it could happen a little sooner and you don't want your investments to be locked by then. So, but do think about this kind of stuff, especially if you are in pre-sales, seed sales, private sales, that kind of stuff, right? And if it's money that you can really miss, hey, go for it. I mean, having a passive income during the bear market is never a bad idea, especially if you invest in really good projects. I mean, for Illuvium, for example, it worked out. You could have invested in the bull market, and in the bear market, you still made money because that project did fantastic. Most projects won't do fantastic though, but this is important. Now, what I want to talk about in this video is the Bitcoin halving. Now, what's so interesting about the Bitcoin halving is that from the vibes that I get from my Telegram group or other groups or wherever, is that people say like, yeah, the halving is coming and we all gonna make it. Yeah, and that's definitely true. The halving is coming, and if we play our cards right, we are definitely going to make it. The halving is happening from this moment in 9 days. The legendary Bitcoin halving in 9 days. Crazy, right? So super exciting. A lot of people are waiting for this. I've drawn this white line a long time ago, and we are now approaching it. As you can see, it's scheduled for next week. But don't get ahead of yourself. I think around the halving, there will be a lot of FUD. Why? Mark my words. But why? Very simple. People, they know the halving is coming, and the halving is bullish. Right? So people be like, oh, the halving is coming. We're going to make it. Yeah, but not right away. That's the thing. If you look at previous halvings, from this halving, it took 9 weeks before we started to go up. After the halving, we went like kind of sideways for 9 weeks. Right? This halving, it took us around 17 weeks, and then we really slowly started to grind up. You could also say that it took more than 20 weeks. But if you really look at it like this, then you could be like, okay, we had the halving right here, and here we really started the stairs up, right? But 17 weeks of nothing. Right? So we had the halving, we were going up, and people were like, okay, whatever, and a big panic sell right here. So actually, after the halving, we got a drop of almost 40%, right? Although the halving was super bullish, halvings are super bullish. Long term, right? Long term, it is super bullish. Short term, it doesn't mean shit. It could be more a sell the news event, because people expect immediate gains, which are not going to happen. So people get disappointed. They might panic sell. Did I say panic sell? I said Sanic Pell out of here. I have to be careful. They might panic sell their bags. What's wrong with me? Might have a stroke. Whatever. Well, anyway, that could happen. That's something that I can see happening. Now, if we look at this last halving, also, it took us 12 weeks. We had the halving right here and we went sideways. Nothing really happened. And then we started our way up. So let's say, we had 9 weeks, 17 weeks, 12 weeks. Let's say it takes us around 12 weeks this time as well from the halving, right? So that would mean that it could be like in July, then we really slowly start to go up. Hey, this time it might also be 20 weeks that it happens in September, or maybe a little faster this time. But, don't expect halving and up only. That's maybe short term and then down, right? But have a little patience. Halving is not short term. Okay, halving is not short term. What I said before, though, what's really bullish, and again, this is completely stolen from Eric Crown. This is the Bitcoin production cost. For the people newer on the channel, super interesting. Don't skip this. For the people that have seen this, let me tell you again, because this is super interesting. The Bitcoin production cost is showing how much it costs to mine a Bitcoin, right? Which is currently $30,000. But after the halving, the miners get half of the block reward. So it will cost them twice as much to mine a Bitcoin. So this will go to $60,000. Okay, fair enough, right? We saw this in previous halvings as well. You had the production cost 4K, halving came 8K, right? You can take this back and it's always doubled. That's how it works, of course. What's super interesting about this, if you look at the price of Bitcoin, the green line, never went below the production cost. Okay, so very simple as well. Of course, I mean, if it will cost you 60K to mine a Bitcoin, but Bitcoin is worth 50K, then the miners are not going to mine anymore. Then it's not profitable. So it will never go below that price. So that could mean that 60K is our actual bottom not too long from now. Okay? That is going to be the base, basically. So therefore, if we look at Bitcoin on the short term, like we are in this flag right here, and it looked like we broke out, and it was a fake out. Now we're back in it, and if we go to the downside of its lower 60s, that's a buying opportunity, and therefore I think this is going to play out to the upside, because these patterns usually play out to the upside in the bull market, but also because there is narrative-wise not much to say that Bitcoin can sustain below 60K, really. Of course, anything could happen. For anything, there's a first time. But betting against the complete history is not the smartest move, in my opinion. Right? So, therefore, at the moment, I'm not doing much. I don't really call this a dip. This is just moving, right? But if we do see a good dip to the lower 60s, yeah, I'm stacking up, because that might really be the last chance that we get. Right? Now, the first thing that I'm stacking up on, and I can't express this enough, pre-sales, seed sales, private sales, get into shit early, okay? Check out the Patreon down below. We're running private sales. Do it, right? That's like the best way to make money with crypto. By far. By very far. Okay? If you feel like, it's not liquid enough for me, I just want to buy some stuff in the open market, fair enough, right? What I'm looking at, well, are multiple things, right? But I can show you how I'm looking at what, actually. Gaming is very simple. People play games. People use crypto. This is a golden combination. So I'm in crypto gaming. Now, AVAX is a chain which is very good for gaming. So AVAX is something that I'm definitely looking at. They have a lot of bullish games coming to that chain. But, like, I mean, off the grid, man. The biggest anticipated game out there in crypto is coming to AVAX. Right, and AVAX hasn't really seen the upside because of it. I mean, it went up like with 5-6x from the bottom. But hey, Solana was sitting at the same $8, and that's now 180 or something, right? 170 at the moment, and it went all the way to 210. Right, AVAX is in the 40s. I don't know, man. I don't see why AVAX can't pull off a Solana. At a certain point, people will be like, okay, Solana made me enough profits, right? It's okay. There's not much more to get from here. Let's move to the next one. That's going to be AVAX, in my opinion. So AVAX around these levels is quite of a steal, I think. And I want to give a big disclaimer, okay? Yeah, Bitcoin could drop to 60K. Hey, it could also drop to 50K. Definitely. Again, I don't think it's sustainable at these levels, but it could drop there. What could happen to the altcoin market if that happens? You know, it's very simple. If Bitcoin finds its big support level of 50K, let's say, that's 28% down. And that's not uncommon in a bull market. Matter of fact, would be uncommon if it doesn't happen, right? But if that does happen to Bitcoin, then you can say like, well, altcoins can at least do the same, right? And that takes them back to the 382 on the Fibonacci retracement, which was major support over in this whole area right here, and we had resistance over here. A retest wouldn't be weird, right? A lot of people feel like, nah, it's not gonna happen. Okay, maybe not, but it's not weird, okay? Could definitely happen. But this is the collective altcoin market, okay? So this is not your altcoin bag. Right, this is the top 125, excluding the top 10. Anything outside of the top 125, yeah, less liquidity, lower market cap, can drop way harder. So your portfolio could actually go down 50%. Now, AVAX is quite a high cap coin, right? So I don't expect that to happen, but AVAX could see levels in this golden zone right here again, between, let's say, $36 and $30 maybe. I don't expect it to drop much more than that, Um, but that's my expectation. Expectations are like not always something that plays out. Otherwise, crypto would have been too easy. I mean, if you compare it to the last bull market, it's doing kind of the same thing, right? Was at its bottom right here. Okay, bottom right here. Leg up, little down, leg up, and then poof, down. Could happen, right? Could happen. I mean, here we were sitting at $40 as well. We dropped all the way back down to 10. Not saying that will happen. If it happens, I'm selling my house, man. But yeah, I think that AVAX at these levels is already fine. If it drops around 30 something, then it's definitely a steal, if you ask me. But yeah, now crypto gaming. Same goes for Beam. I think that Beam is such a great infrastructure. I need to have exposure to Beam. It's just like, and I have a free Beam bag by now. I made some good trades out of it, but still, I mean, it went to 4.5 cents. It's now sitting at 3. It's a good level, and worst case scenario, I can see it go to 1.5 or 2. Right, this level right here. We had a lot of stuff coming there, and not a real retest at these levels yet. Altora, don't underestimate gaming NFTs. This is something that's going to be really big, and Altora, it's kind of breaking this trend line right here. On the other hand, as long as it's above 4.5 cents, it's still a higher low, and it just made a higher high, so it's in an uptrend still. So looking quite good, if you ask me. You can see it pretty clearly like this, that it's just ranging up, right? And it's now at the lower side of the range, so might be a good place to already start buying if you don't have exposure yet. Playable games I don't know, man. It had a lot of hype. The thing is, though, that it is breaking support right now, and it came down really hard, right? Some altcoins, they mooned so hard, and in the middle of this bull market, it still came down 71%. So therefore, you should be really careful about buying when things are high, right? Otherwise, you can wreck yourself pretty hard. If you have no exposure, I would say DCA a little bit, but I am waiting for this zone right here. I already have some exposure, and it looks like, hey, this is broken. Next stop is this, right? And that is another 30% maybe down. Yeah, 30% down, give or take. So let it cool off. Let it cool off a little bit, right? 30% down on altcoins, it's not that weird. Especially if you consider that these altcoins had pumps of whatever, like 60x or something crazy, right? But that's something that I'm looking at. People are not talking that much more about Legends of Elysium. Illumia, sorry, Elysium is another project, Illumia. Illumia Crown. Therefore, I think this is pretty interesting. This is a project built on Solana, and the graphics are very much on point. And also, if you look chart-wise, a lot of resistance, a lot of resistance, a lot of resistance, and it's now support. And also, this one has come down quite hard, right? Quite hard, 75%. But again, that's not weird because it also went up 18x, right? 18x. And now it is up 5x, right? So it starts to become a good buy again, right? Like here you missed it, don't buy it, right? You missed it, admit it. And now it feels like, okay, we're getting a second chance right here. So it actually looks really good. So I'm gonna open my Phantom app and I'm gonna get a little bit more exposure to this one because I don't know, man. This is something that I definitely want to buy. I'm gonna pause the video for a second. Okay, got my bag. Super nice. Now, also what's quite interesting is Games for a Living. Games for a Living had an immense hype right here. Everybody was talking about it. And when everything was doing well, Games for a Living was doing really well, right? If you look at the monthly candles with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 green candles in a row. Now it is cooling off, of course, but it's not that like much down really yet. So the project is definitely showing strength right there. If you look at an Illuvium, for example, Illuvium is also. I had an interview with the founder of Illuvium. Became really extra bullish after that interview. So do check it out on my channel if you haven't seen it yet. I think Illuvium is going to rip it. Although they are already quite high cap. So if you see a good dip, take advantage of it. Now, one that is really having a high place in my portfolio is IMX. IMX is doing really fantastic. If you look at the support where we are right now, it's also quite interesting, right? We had support, we had resistance. We broke out of it, turned it into support. Now we broke out of this resistance, turned it into support. So IMX anywhere between here, basically, and 230, give or take, looks good. If we do break that, yeah, then it's a long way down. But that might be a good opportunity. So I can give you all these coins, right? I'm still quite bullish on Volker Forge, but it is lagging. Chart wise, it's looking quite good, right? We were ranging, we broke out, we had a retest, and now we're going up, and we might have a double bottom retest right here, so maybe 530 or something like that. I think that Chainlink is also a coin that will do really well, by the way, in the bull market. It's nothing to do with gaming, but it's a token that we all really need. Yeah, Ronin, beautiful, but the chart is showing it, right? And Ronin didn't had that big correction yet as well. CeDeFi, of course, CeDeFi has a decent correction at the moment. It had a wick all the way up to 570 or so, and it's now sitting at a 33% correction already. But still higher highs and higher lows right here on this time frame, so looking quite good. Superverse is also this rip, man. So I find it a little hard to buy this thing. Although it already came down with also 30%. So most coins are already correcting quite hard. Now, Ultra is interesting because Ultra never had that pump. So you can look at it like, hey, might be an opportunity. You can also look at it like, hey, everything pumps except Ultra. So maybe not that interesting of a play, right? Do with it whatever you want. Wag Me Games also, like when this thing runs, it runs hard. When it corrects hard, right? So if it's at the lower side of this range again, that's an interesting place. That's an interesting place. Although it is already down, 52% from its high. But yeah, if you look at this low, basically it's already up 3x. So yeah. Yeah, and I'm looking at some AI stuff as well. I'm looking at Hash AI, but this is really new, so this is really hard to say. But if you look at how it moves, it's been slowly selling off right here, and this might be an interesting play. I don't have a back yet though. I am not completely sure, and it's also only on Uniswap, and it's the rich people's chain. So I kind of hate that these newer projects always like just list on Uniswap, right? Like, come on, do something more for us. But I don't know, man. Might be a good play, but I don't know enough about this coin right here. SNFTS is also a coin that I'm invested in. CeDeFi NFT space. This is going, be the token for the NFT launchpad. It's far-fetched. I don't know. It is. It's still doing well. On the shorter time frame, as you can see right here, it's going up. So it's still in an upwards trend right here. So looking quite good. But yeah, I don't know, man. They are not that fast with developing. Just like Good Morning Fam, also a meme coin that they released. Now in a big downtrend, I would wait for it to break out and then buy it. Then you miss the bottom. But hey, on the other hand, it could go down more. You don't know where that bottom is going to be. You can DCA in, of course. But this is one of the only meme coins that I have. I bought a meme coin BS4, by the way, base station 4, but maybe I'm already rucked. I don't know. I don't look at it. It's not on CoinGecko, so I can't track it. So I have no idea. And the newer coins that just came out, right, on Launchpads. One is doing very well. Trax 20 that we talked about in yesterday's video, I think. You know, it came out and it's slowly grinding up right here. It didn't do something really impressive. It's now sitting just over a 2x, but hey, we made a 2x. Nice. With 50% TGE, that's definitely not bad. But overall, these newer coins, yeah, they are more volatile, right? Like they can go up really hard. They can go down. My chart is a mess, man. But second, for example, this is Metados. Yeah, it looks like it's consolidating right here, and that's good. I've put quite some money into this project. I think like 12K or something like that. So I hope it goes up for sure. I'm in some good profits right now, but come on, give me more than this, man. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking at right now. And two other new projects, Arcade to Earn, talked about that as well. Sold out on GameStarter, ChainGPT, Seedify. Congratulations to the Arcade team. It's looking fantastic. And it's going to list on KuCoin. So that's really good news. Don't know the exact date yet, but let's take a look. The burning drop starts on April 10th. So that's today, by the way. So I think it's going to list pretty soon. And Evermoon, we had that private sale in the Patreon. Yeah, and if you look at how the game is looking, this is beautiful, man. I love Evermoon. I absolutely love it. This is a game that looks super fun to play, actually. You can already download it for the open beta, so do that. Check it out. Could be a really interesting one as well. Yeah, and there's so much good stuff coming out on the crypto market. So I would say be patient. It's very simple. If we look at the altcoin market, if it goes down hard, I'm going to buy all these coins that I just talked about. If it goes up, I'm fine because I have my pre-sale bags. I hope you are packed as well. If it goes sideways, hey, we have more time to prepare, to DCA, to learn, to read, to I don't know, allocate. And over the longer term, we should do well, right? What I already talked about, Bitcoin is already sitting at an all-time high and slightly over it. The altcoin market still has 50% to go. So altcoins are yet to run. And that's mostly because the Bitcoin dominance has to really come down, right? It's still up quite hard, right? If you exclude the stable coins like Cardano, etc. If you look at the usual Bitcoin dominance, then it's really up. So we need to come down right now. And I think that we are topping out at this moment. So altcoins should be bullish, in my opinion. I don't know, man. Q3, Q4 is when we really see stuff blowing up. So that is yeah, that's it for today, man. Please like the video if you like the video, subscribe to the channel, turn the bell notification on. Questions, suggestions, leave them down below, and I will see you guys tomorrow for a very interesting video about strategy. One you should definitely not miss. So be there.